Detective Pikachu, probably one of the weirdest concepts made by Pokemon. It's kind of like Mystery Dungeon with a little bit of case closed, but with a talking Pikachu. What's even crazier is they are making a movie with Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu. If you don't believe me, it was all over Twitter, so go look it up. Hi, I'm Allyssa with ChannelFrederator, and we are counting down a list of Pokemon we want to see in the Detective Pikachu movie. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to become part of our notification squad. Ditto. A lot of people in the Pokemon fandom know what Ditto is. It's this little goopy looking goo material that some believe actually is a failed clone of Mew. Ditto only has one move, and it's Transform. It basically can change itself into any shape that it wants. And not just things like sometimes in the anime they showed that, but also Pokemon. So why do we want to see Ditto in Detective Pikachu? Well, we were thinking it would probably be more of a criminal, an evil mastermind that can transform itself really into anything, or anyone. What if the Ditto tries to transform itself into the president, or the mayor, or, I don't know, the mayor's main Pokemon? It's probably a Persian, just saying. But since Ditto relies on its memory to be able to transform into whatever it wants to transform into, it might get the details wrong, like forget specific meetings about the president, or maybe specific characteristics about the mayor, something like that, where Detective Pikachu will be able to pick up on all the signs that this is not who these people say they are. It's actually a Ditto. Chatot. Chatot is a parrot Pokemon. According to its Pokedex entry, it mimics the cries of other Pokemon to trick them into thinking it's one of them. But we see Chatot in Detective Pikachu as more of an ally. There's always some sort of detective case in a show or movie where a parrot solves the crime. Whether they heard the suspect's name or heard the last cries of anyone who was murdered or stole something, the parrot usually repeats it back. So I have a feeling that a Chatot can play the role of that. Especially if there's another Pokemon around, it could probably mimic the sound of the Pokemon as it's committing the crime. Plus, none of the Pokemon except for Pikachu actually talk in the movie. So this would be the only way to be able to communicate between humans and Pokemon besides Pikachu. Crocodile, Murkrow, and Pangoro. Now you may be thinking, Allyssa, you listed 3 Pokemon under 1 point on your list. Well, that's because these 3 Pokemon to me are sort of a gang of miscreants. They sort of remind me of Ed, and Eddie. And here's why. Crocodile seems like the main member of the group. According to its Pokedex entry, it's a very violent Pokemon. So I can picture him as the leader of the gang, the main guy, the guy that everybody goes to when they need a plan for the next heist, what they're gonna steal, who they're gonna bully, kind of like that. Then we got Murkrow, and right before we started filming this, I looked up that Murkrow is actually in the game. But for the Detective Pikachu movie, I can see Murkrow as kind of like the second-hand part of Crocodile in the gang. He's kind of like the Ed, the double D of the group, where it's like he's really smart and he can think of plans really easily and lay it out. He's kind of like the map. He can fly over, look down, see anything shiny that he needs to steal, because according to its Pokedex entry, this Pokemon shows strong interest in anything that sparkles or glitters. It will even try to steal rings for women. Pangoro is kind of like the Ed of the group. It's like really big and really slow, so I feel like they have the power because they have a violent temperament, according to its Pokedex entry, and it won't put up with bullies. So I feel like it's the stronghold of the group, the wall, the thing that blocks out everything, but you know, it's a little slow, so it's really easy for Detective Pikachu to get around him. Now, the 3 of them together make up a great team, but of course in the end, Detective Pikachu has to win, so something has to fall apart. Whether the 3 of them fall apart on themselves, or just Detective Pikachu finds the way to get through them and solve their issues and get back what they stole, I feel like they're not going to be the winners here. Umask and Drowsy. Now again, this is a team, not just one Pokemon. Most detective shows have this episode where something supernatural happens, paranormal, like there's a ghost, or there's demons, or vampires, or we have to look into the future or read someone's mind to figure out the issue and solve the crime. So a lot of the times the detectives have to go to a psychic medium. And in Pokemon, psychic types are usually known for reading minds, kind of using their psychic abilities to bend things and warp reality. While most ghost Pokemon are just controlling objects and being mischievous, playing pranks. But I think Umask and Drowsy can make up that team to become the psychic medium trope in Detective Pikachu. According to the Pokedex entry for Umask, these Pokemon arose from the spirits of people interred in graves. Each retains memories of its former life. So Umask used to be a person, and then they turned into a Pokemon, but they remember everything from their past life. So if there was a case where Detective Pikachu had to go to a psychic medium to read ghosts from the past flashbacks and see memories of what happened, they would probably go to Umask. So Drowsy is known as the Dream Eater Pokemon. Maybe there's a moment where Detective Pikachu has to go into people's dreams to figure out how to solve the problem. Drowsy can eat the dreams of whoever the victim was and figure out what happened. Who stole the ring? What happened 5 minutes before? Did they eat a good lunch? These are all very important to the case. So Umask and Drowsy are the psychic medium team that Detective Pikachu can go to. Smeargle. Let's say one of the crimes that Detective Pikachu has to solve involves someone recalling something that they saw. A Pokemon, a person, they remember it inside of their brains. But it's really hard to get all the details out just by what they're saying. So Detective Pikachu brings in Smeargle, who is a sketch artist. It uses its tail with different paints and sketches out what the eyewitness has seen. Who is this person? Why did they look like this? And this will help Detective Pikachu figure out who has done the crime. But in my head, I also feel like Smeargle is kind of like snotty and snooty. Like, he'll take forever to make the perfect sketch to solve the crime. Like, it's more than solving the crime, but more like making the sketch look perfect in Smeargle's eyes. Ashawatch. When thinking of which Pokemon can play the victim in Detective Pikachu, there has to be one small, timid Pokemon. You know, the one that lost its balloon, the one that couldn't find its wallet even though it was right in the place that they left it before. So that's when we started thinking about Ashawatch. Ashawatch just looks like a tiny, timid Pokemon. It's a starter Pokemon. It looks really sweet and innocent. So I feel like if it lost something or had something stolen, it would be a huge moment for the audience. Just imagine that Ashawatch found a pearl at the beach. He's so happy. He's been digging all day for these pearls and finally found one. When all of a sudden, Murkrow comes out of nowhere and steals it because it's nice and shiny. Ashawatch is very upset, starts crying. The audience is freaking out because they want him to be happy. They want him to get back what was stolen from him. So he goes to Detective Pikachu and asks for his help. And in the end, he saves the day, gets the pearl back, and all is happy. That's why Ashawatch would be a perfect fit for the victim. Tiny, timid, cute, and sad. Slowpoke. One of the best memes in the Pokemon fandom is Slowpoke. That's why perfect role for a Slowpoke is an eyewitness. Picture this. The movie starts off with him as the only witness for a crime. Detective Pikachu has him in the back room, trying to get it out of him, all this information. But Slowpoke is taking his time to reveal who the criminal actually was. By the end of the movie, he finally reveals the true criminal, even though Detective Pikachu already caught him. According to the Pokédex entry for Slowpoke, this Pokemon often forgets what it's doing. Not only will this add another comedic element to the whole situation, but it will add in more to the meme of Slowpoke. Porygon. The Pokédex entry for Porygon is that it's capable of reverting itself entirely back to program data and entering cyberspace. A few episodes of a detective show have someone hacking into the system, whether they're on the good side or the bad side. Porygon can actually be either in this case. If Detective Pikachu needs to hack into a mainframe to figure out who did a thing, what was stolen, what the security cameras were, but no one's giving him passcodes, Porygon can get right in there. It can literally go into the computer, find the file, drag it out, and show it to Detective Pikachu. Or Porygon could be a hacker on the bad side and start hacking into computers and destroying them all over the place. I personally want to see Porygon back on the big screen as the good guy, especially after the whole Porygon banned episode incident from the anime. Come on guys, Porygon did nothing wrong, so let's bring him back as a good guy, a good hacker, if that's even a thing. Pichu. Detective Pikachu has to have a rival. You can't be the only detective Pokemon around. A majority of people think that a Raichu can be the rival for a Pikachu. But what if Detective Pikachu switched things up? I mean, there's already a movie happening anyway. Crazy things could happen. So what if Pikachu's rival was actually a Pichu? It's small, looks timid, looks deceitful in a way. But I'm imagining that this Pichu is actually aggressive, has a deep voice, and even all the bigger Pokemon around it are very intimidated. Will Pichu sabotage all the clues that Detective Pikachu finds? Rivals can be good or bad. Maybe in the end they both have to work together to solve the crime. Overall, I think Detective Pikachu has his hands full, and all these Pokemon seem pretty likely for a movie, but we'll just have to watch the full Detective Pikachu movie when it comes out to see for ourselves. Once again, I'm Allyssa, and thanks for watching Pokemon We Want to See in the Detective Pikachu movie. What Pokemon do you want to see, and what roles should they play? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to become part of the notification squad. And remember, Frederator loves you.